Hi everyone, how are you doing? This is Amanda Ellis. I hope that you are all well. A very warm welcome to this video and my channel, and in particular to all of the new people that seem to be flooding in here. Thank you so much for subscribing. There are 4,000 of you since January that have joined us, so I'm thrilled with that, and the number just keeps on growing. I do think that we have some very important messages on this channel, so please do stay tuned. And what I try to do is a variety of different subjects. The one thing that I can promise you is it never is boring here. I tend to shake it up and do different things. So the subject matter of today's video is definitely not boring, and indeed the age and the era that we are moving into is certainly not boring. Definitely a time to hold on to your seatbelts, because you may or may not know that we have Pluto moving into Aquarius tomorrow on the 20th of January 2024. There's also the Sun is going to be conjunct Pluto tomorrow. But this thing about Pluto moving into Aquarius is a big deal. It is, I'm just going to look at my notes here. It's going to be in Aquarius from January the 20th till the start of September. Then it does sort of like a little segue back into Capricorn just for a little while. And then basically from November the 19th till March 2043, although some people have said 2044. Anyway, a hell of a long time, basically 2 decades. Pluto is going to be in Aquarius. So by the time it's finished, that whole journey, we are going to be very different people. We're going to be 2 decades older. The collective consciousness is going to be 2 decades further on. And it is our job, it is imperative right now that as light workers, as people that are on a spiritual path, that we really try to manifest in the highest possible timeline that we can, because make no mistake about it, Pluto moving into Aquarius is going to bring in an energy of revolution, evolution, and extraordinary change. And it's going to be happening fast. So we need to get ready for it. I thought it would be really interesting to have a look at it, what it's going to be bringing in for us today. And what I'm actually thinking I might do also is maybe pull some cards regards where we'll be at the end of it. But anyway, let's just see what wants to come through today. And I'm going to get just straight into the subject today. All right. So without any further ado, I am going to turn to the cards. And I'm going to start with one card in particular that I want to show you, and then we're going to build from it. I wanted to use a number of decks today, but in particular, I want to use the Akashic Tarot deck by Sandra Ann Taylor. It's a good deck. And before I've even shuffled the cards, the one that is at the bottom of the deck is this one, card number 22, and it says Adsum. Okay, Adsum. And the meaning of the word Adsum comes from Latin, and it means I am present. I am present. And I've also heard it said that Adsum is also something which usually is in answer to a roll call. And it seems to me as though for us to be using that word, Adsum, and in particular, it also has a master number 22 attached to it, is a very powerful affirmation for us to be using as this new era kicks in tomorrow. I'm also just noticing on the bottom of the deck as well, the next card is this one, which says the ascent. So that is what we are climbing towards, whether we can reach a higher summit, a higher plateau than we presently are with regards to where our consciousness is, but also where we are. I saw a poll on YouTube this morning, One of these ones where a YouTuber comes on and just says, a number of different things. And the question was, of all your relationships, in fact, did I even photograph? I'll just see if I can photographed it. Of all the relationships that you have in your life, which is the one that you feel requires the most attention at the moment? And I think it was something like 65% of the people basically said the relationship that they needed to improve the most was the one that they have with themselves. And to that, I was sort of like, yes. Once we start to really understand that, here we go. It was on Dr. Rangan Chatterjee's channel this morning. So he said, which relationships do you need to work on the most? 62% said myself, 10% said family, 10% said friends, 12% said partner. And that I just thought was brilliant, because when we really get that we have to, as this card also shows, roll up our sleeves, take responsibility and work on ourselves to be the change that we wish to see in the world will change. And it's really exciting because it feels as though we're reaching a point where more and more people are getting that. At the end of the day, the sign of Aquarius is very much associated with free thinking, independence, all of that. So the more of us that can get on the wave of working on ourselves, taking responsibility for our own problems, our own shadows, our own challenges, and roll up our sleeves and get on with it, the easier this time is going to be. So that was the first thing that I wanted to say. But I want to go back to this phrase, Adsum, and I'm going to go back to what it actually says in the book itself. I'll put the card up so you can see it again in a moment, but just so I can look at it. It's basically showing a young girl. She's seated and spirit are coming to her. There is an angel on her shoulders that is whispering to her, and there is a fairy. In fact, there are two fairies floating overhead. Can you see that? And there also are to me what appear to be ancestors that are also present there. So it is saying that not only are we present and signed up and ready for duty as light workers, here I am, I'm taking responsibility for myself, I'm going to do my part to help change not only myself, but in reflection the world. We also have a huge number of helpers in spirit. It's quite interesting because this morning I went and had a glorious walk actually by the sea. I live by the sea. I'm going to show you a photograph that I took of the sea this morning. It was extraordinary. Can you see that? It was so still. It was so peaceful. It was so serene. It was like the sea was like glass. You could see everything reflected in it. I have never seen the sea so clear because it was just absolutely beautiful. And the reason that I'm telling you this is that somebody saw this photograph that I posted on Facebook, I think. Hi, Pamela. And you said, it looks like Ashtar is here, Galactic Command Ashtar, because I often talk about Ashtar linked into the platinum ray. And to that, I thought, yeah. But then I heard another voice say, but they're all here. They're all here. That's what it felt like this morning. They're all here. Everybody is present for duty to do what needs to be done, because I want to go back to this card, the sands of time. It's not that are we running out of time? Maybe we are in some ways, and I say that just because I believe firmly that the earth ascends with or without us. The earth awakens with or without us. Gaia is a living organism in her own right and is ascending and awakening And we either do or we don't. Now, hopefully, if you're watching me, you're very much on the path of already being awakened, or you are in an awakening process. And I always say that is a continual thing. It's not just a case of one day I'm awake and then that's it, I know everything, because none of us do. We're here to learn more and more all the time. But definitely it feels as though we are getting, via this Pluto in Aquarius energy, the proverbial kick up the backside, basically, as a collective. So let's pull a few more cards and see what we get. But is there anything that I've missed with regards to this card? I'll just read this little bit to you. It says, Adsum, A-D-S-U-M, is a single word that has many, many meanings. First, it affirms your own strength and your focus in the present, and you can use it as a command word whenever you find yourself distracted from what's at hand. Say, Adsum, I am here, and feel yourself attend to the situation or person before you. This word also declares your arrival at your goals and all your wishes coming true. Say, Adsum, I arrive, and take a moment to see yourself reaching your goals absolutely. I actually feel as though as a collective, we need to be saying, Adsum, I arrive, with regards to this Pluto in Aquarius, and to welcome it in, to let any fear, misapprehension, and sense of dread, leave it in the old Capricorn energy that we're leaving. You know, that's effectively, it's like the devil energy that wants us to stay afraid of change. It wants us to stay in our comfort zone, both within our personal situations and in the collective. But we're never going to move forward and be able to achieve anything more than we already have unless we get out of comfort zone. So it's as though we have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I'm sure I've channeled that before, but it's very true. But to also see what is happening now, either in your own world or in the collective world, or both, as being necessary for the bigger changes that want to come in and to arrive. Okay, so with this waking up process that is going to be accelerated tenfold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold by Pluto moving into Aquarius, we also must always remember that, in particular, the most challenging and difficult things and the darkest energies that are arising right now are happening because they are there to try to wake people up. Because people have been in slumber for a very long time. They've been in slumber for a very long time. I like this card actually, which actually does say time to wake up, but it says slumber. It has the word slumber. And it's as though many people have been in slumber in our world and are slowly waking up. But it's quite interesting, particularly people that are maybe newly awakening to a spiritual path, newly starting to question mainstream narratives, newly starting to question the big things such as our political system, such as our religious systems, our leaders, etc., the way our society is run, the money system would also come into that. People that are starting to wake up to this, what Metatron is giving me is the analogy of literally when you wake up in the morning. So you might be somebody that's lucky and you can just bounce out of bed like Tigger, okay? And you're off and you're up and everything is great with your world. But many people, myself included, need a bit of gentle coaxing in the morning, okay? It's a slow process, okay? And we need, our shower, or we need our coffee, and we need to put our face on, or we need to do whatever it is we need to do to get ready to face the day. If you think about that now in terms of a wider collective piece of symbolism. Many people who are just starting to waken up, they need time. We need to have patience with them. We need to not rush. It shouldn't be an incessant wake-up call that's grating, that puts your nervous system into overdrive, that starts your day off on the wrong foot. It should be a gentle awakening process. And I believe even with Pluto in Aquarius, it can be a gentle waking process, but it's all to do with how we are approaching it and also whether we actually understand why it's happening in the first place, okay? I was talking to a few people online yesterday, and I'm not going to get into even the discussion that I was talking about necessarily. I'll just say it was American politics, okay? And we're not even going to talk about which side I was talking about. But the point was, somebody had gone into great fear with regards to what may happen or what might not happen. And I said to them, truly, and I really believe this, truly, where we have to get to is a place where we see the players on the stage, we see this beautiful world that we're in as a process of continual creation, where we actually do have some part to play, a very important part to play in what we see out there, okay? So what I'm trying to say is to try to detach as much as we can from the dramas, that whatever is occurring in our world, unless literally it is knocking on our front door and coming into our home, to not allow it to spoil your life. Because in any generation, in every single incarnation that you've had, believe you me, there have been huge challenges, huge people on the world stage that you might not have liked. In fact, in the old days, you probably hadn't even heard of them. It would have been more localized. But the very important thing is to enjoy this passage through Pluto in Aquarius as much as you can, and to get what Metatron's showing me is he's showing me a sponge, and you know when you squeeze a sponge and you get as much of the water out of it as possible before you then put it back on the shelf and it's dry, he's saying try to squeeze out as much as you possibly can in terms of learning during these next 20 years. But this first year, kicking it off basically until 20 years hence, is a big one. It's setting the tone, basically. It's setting the scene. So when you come up against something, whether it's in the collective, whether it's in your personal life, that is deeply, deeply triggering, that you just can't get past in relation to, and I know this very well, it's almost as though if this wasn't in my life, I would be happy, okay? If this wasn't happening in the world, I would be able to lead a happy life. Try to see what is happening in the world as huge teaching blocks. And what Metatron's showing me here now is, you know, the wooden blocks that children have when it's the first toy that they get and they're building, you know, a tower usually that then gets knocked down. Well, these building blocks that he's showing me here are huge. They're absolutely huge. And this is where we're at right now. Huge opportunity to learn. And it's as though for awakening to happen in higher numbers, including within ourselves, even if we're awake, so for us to awake even more, please understand that the situations in the world, the people on the stage in the world, are going to get larger than life, even more larger than life, even more unbelievable, because that's what they're there to do, and they're playing their best role ever. Their best role ever. I actually said to somebody else answering another question the other day with regard to JE, okay? And yeah, that videos do get flagged with this guy's name on, but the one with the island, okay, I think we all know who he is by now. And I said, the thing with somebody like JE is he has played his part absolutely to perfection, from a soul perspective, to perfection. He has come in, whether he's alive or dead doesn't matter, because it's a pretty toxic energy either way, because that was the role he was playing. But it helps to uncover the deepest darkness in our world. How do we think it was going to be discovered if we didn't have these huge big players that get too big for their own boots, that get too powerful, that get brought down, and then the light gets into a tiny little chink? So the other thing on that, and then we'll get back to the cards, but it's important. I've been talking about the TV series The Traitors the other day on, I don't know, Facebook or whatever. And because I just find it interesting psychologically in terms of how people go with the herd, okay, so they just follow what everybody else does, that they can't necessarily see the traitors in their mix, because if you put on a smile or, you appear to be friendly, you can't possibly be somebody who might backstab you or betray you, whereas actually, yes, you can. So we need to learn discernment through Pluto in Aquarius. But the third thing I'd like to say, the new thing, is that it also becomes apparent there's this energy of a traitor couldn't possibly turn on another traitor, could they? And that's going to be one of the most fascinating aspects of this age we're about to move into, because yes, they can, and yes, they will. And the darkness in our world basically is going to devour itself. So much of the time, we maybe are worried or we're concerned about how we're going to win this battle. Even though, remember, time isn't linear, we've actually already won it in the future. We've already won it. That's another important thing to remember. Light has already won. In fact, it's a very important thing when you're getting very bogged down in things, to remember light has already won. But also just to remember that traitor will turn upon traitor. Darkness will consume itself. So it isn't actually just our job as light workers. It's not just the light that is going to win this battle. It's actually the darkness that will be defeating itself as well. So it's really going to be quite an interesting time coming up. Okay, let's now pull some cards and see what wants to come through today as a message. Let's bring it, that was more like an overview, okay. Let's bring it down right now to 20th of January, 2024. And I'm going to, I think, go out maybe a month. I think we'll do a month. Okay, so we're going to look at the month's energy from tomorrow to February the 20th. And I feel as though I just need to light some incense. So I'm going to do that. Put that on and we will get going. So just take a moment maybe to check in with yourself with regards to how you are feeling now. It would be a very good time for you to maybe journal this weekend. Even if you don't really keep a diary or you don't generally journal, because in 20 years' time, it'll be very interesting for you to look back and see how you were then as compared to how you will be in the future. It could also be a very good weekend to write a letter to your future self. So you literally write a letter to your future self, 20 years older. God forbid I'm going to be 76, but I'm never going to be old. I refuse to be old. I'm going to grow older disgracefully. But no, in all seriousness, so write a letter to your 76-year-old or your 46-year-old, or whatever age you're going to be in 20 years' time, okay? And just see what comes through. I don't want to really dictate what you should be doing in that letter. But put it this way, I've done the exercise before. I think I did it 10 years ago at some point, and my letter was more about praising my future self for believing in her, okay? So believing effectively that I could do it, whatever that meant, okay? Believing that I could do it, believing that I would win, believing that I would have, I don't know, a successful career, a happy family, whatever it was that I was wanting at that time. But having that conviction and that strength and putting my power as a magician and a manifester into the 20-year period. Okay, so be very, very careful what you are thinking over the next couple of days, because it's almost as though we're all opening a window to a new era in our lives. And it's a bit like, do you open the curtains in the morning and you think, oh God, another shit day? You know, it's like, oh God. Or do you open the windows in the morning and think, right, it's beautiful, even if it's pouring with rain or it's gales are lashing in or whatever, you know? It's like we have to try to up our game this weekend to be as positive as we possibly can. And if you're finding that really difficult at the moment, as I say, write a letter to your future self, just congratulating her or him in terms of, we did it, okay? We did it. How fun that was, this journey we've been on. How much have we learnt? Giving thanks to all of the people that we have met, you know, so it's looking back. That would be a really positive thing for you to be doing. Okay, let's pull some cards. This deck is called The Rise of the Warrior Oracle. I'll put the details below. By Luna Marie. Let's have 3 cards from this deck. So Pluto moving into Aquarius tomorrow. We have time to let go. And on the bottom of the deck, we have the card of surrender. I'll put them up so you can see them in a moment. We've also got the card of transformation, okay, on the bottom of the deck as well. I'll pull one more, actually, because those 2 were from the bottom, but I just intuitively felt I wanted them. So Pluto moving into Aquarius. Show me the energy, please. Oh, great. Okay. Well, talk about hammering the message home. So the first card, Pluto moving into Aquarius, time to let go. The analogy of the tree that has no choice because it understands nature's cycles. It understands that for new growth to come in over the following year, it has to release the old leaves that are already drying and withering on its branches. And if it doesn't do that, no new life can follow over the next season. Okay? So let go, Spirit is saying. Let go, let go, let go. And remember, the Capricorn energy, it's about being released from that energy. Because it's also here, we have control. Not at all surprised to see that word come through. It says control, and it says let go of the need to know. I mean, that is a big one, isn't it, guys? I'll show you all 4 cards and I'm going to come back to them. We've also got surrender. Choose to be free. Surrender. Choose to be free. So time to let go of the need to control and know. And now we've got choose to be free. And the end result is transformation. With all of those butterflies in her hair. It feels very much, I'm being taken back to a sort of Woodstock, summer of love type energy, where, you know, it's just like, let your hair down, be who you truly are, and embrace the wonder and beauty of this world. But anyway, we've got to get there first. But equally, don't always think of it in terms of a future event. We need to be bringing it into the present. Adsum, I am here. Okay, transformation is here. Bring it into the present day. But I want to go back to this control card because, wow, what a powerful piece of imagery. It has us. That person who is hanging off the strings, the puppet master's strings, is you. And it is saying that puppet master, as much as you might want it to be them, and I'm not saying that puppet masters in our midst do not exist in our world, because of course they do, but actually we can be our worst puppet master. Our wounded shadow self can be the puppet master that keeps you running round and round in rings with regards to, I don't know, whatever it is, codependency, toxic relationships, addictions, doing things that you know are not good for you, but you keep doing them anyway, because who is pulling the strings? Who is pulling the strings? If your higher self was pulling the strings, it wouldn't be pulling the strings anyway. Your higher self would be this energy of just go with the flow, be free, go out and explore. Go out and explore, my child. It's that energy of go out and explore. That's why you came. Go and have an adventure, including, a bit like Wizard of Oz, there's going to be a few odd things that you meet along the way as well, okay? But don't be deterred by the twists and turns. Don't be derailed by the difficult bits. Keep on going, okay? Keep on going. But yeah, letting go of control, I mean, that's what it's all about. The cards could not be clearer. It's time to do that. So are we going to, is the question. Are we going to? The only person that can answer that is yourself. I hope that lots of us are rolling up our sleeves in 2024 and doing exactly that. Not for anybody else, for yourself. Okay, not for anybody else but yourself. I was having a discussion with my mother over the weekend, as I do every weekend. And, she doesn't have much going on in her life, so there's not a lot to talk about. So I tend to talk about myself and try and dredge up something to talk about. But anyway, I have been on this new fitness regime, I suppose you'd call it, trying a new healthy diet since the beginning of January. I've lost half a stone. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. I'm not doing it for praise, but the point is, I'm doing it because I knew that it was now or never, basically. It was now or never. I am completely committed to the path ahead, and I see the version of myself that I am becoming and that I will be. And it's a beautiful thing. But I'm doing it for myself, not for anybody else. And I was having this chat with Mum, and she was sort of saying, oh, yeah, well, I need to lose weight as well. And then she said, oh, do you remember that time, Amanda, that you saw this clairvoyant? And this clairvoyant apparently had told me that my mum was going to meet some bloke, God knows how many years ago. She never did. But Mum said, and that spurred me on. She said, I did a diet then, and I was going to lose all this weight for this new man. And I said, Mum, that isn't the reason why you should have done it. I was maybe a bit snappy, but the point is I was trying to just bring in this energy of do it for yourself. Do it for yourself. Don't do it for anybody else. Do it for you, okay? And again, if we take this now into a wider arena, let go of the need to know, how many of us, if we're really honest, only sometimes start a new path or do something because we have a feeling that it's going to turn out well. Now, I know that sounds a bit weird because it's like, well, Amanda, you wouldn't start something if you knew it was going to be a failure. Well, no, but equally failure can be a very good teacher as well. I love Dragon's Den. I think it's called Shark's Tank or something in America. But anyway, we call it Dragon's Den here in the UK. The group of entrepreneurs, and are they going to invest or are they not going to? And the truth is that if you watch something like that, or you are an entrepreneur yourself, you're a business person, you're trying to get a new project off the ground, a new business off the ground, nobody has a cast iron guarantee that anything is going to be successful. That's the truth of it. And sometimes the things that are most unlikely are the ones that take off. So you need to, because it's about rolling up your sleeves and getting on with it, believing in yourself, yes, being passionate about whatever it is you want to do, yes, but equally not dictating to spirit. You see this a lot, not dictating to spirit, that because I'm putting all these hours in, it is going to work, isn't it? Well, maybe it's not meant to work. Maybe that's not the thing you're meant to be doing. Maybe you're meant to be doing something else. So just surrendering into the day, surrendering into the activity, surrendering into the new project, the new job, the new relationship, seeing how it's going, how it will go. You don't know. Nobody knows until they start anything. But this thing about control and needing to know that it's going to be absolutely perfect before we put a foot forward is the thing that stops it from happening, the success from happening. Now, let me just go back a step as well. I want to say again something about Plutus. Plutus? I've just made a new word. Should we start calling this next 20 years Plutus? That feels quite good to me. Plutus. No, in all seriousness. Sorry, if you're new to me, I do have a bit of a sense of humour and I just can't help. I am who I am. I am who I am. This is the whole thing. Be who you are. Okay. It doesn't matter if people don't get it. Just be who you are, because that is the Aquarian energy. Be a free thinker. Be independent. Do it. That's what you came to be. Okay. Look up where Aquarius is in your chart as well. Will be interesting. It will give you a clue maybe to what you can use to your advantage in the next chapter of your life. Anyhow, what was I going to say about Plutus? Pluto and Aquarius. Oh, yeah. Let go of the need to know. I mean, this might sound a bit rich coming from me because obviously I'm on YouTube, I'm doing videos like this. I have never presented myself as some great seer and fortune teller. I don't really believe in that. Sometimes I might make the odd prediction because it comes to me. But, really, I know that the future is ours to create. And that's the truth. If you do, as I do yearly predictions, they are just literally like, okay, what am I feeling today? Which way is the wind going today? Knowing that timelines can change all the time based on what the collective are doing, what they're giving, new things that can come in, etc. But I feel as though we need to let go of always needing to know what's happening. What do I mean by this? I've seen a lot and I've observed a lot, particularly within the spiritual community. People are very caught up in the agendas that are at play in our world. I'm not saying do not be aware of them and things that could potentially happen. But put it this way, a lot of the spiritual community seem to be investing an awful lot of time and energy in worst case possible scenario, and every single strategy that they then might have to employ in regard to if that happened. And they're not living their life. They're not living their life. It's almost as though people are too, and this applies to everybody, people are too hooked into certain things have to happen for something else to happen. Yeah? So there's something in that. Just let go, basically. Just let go and surrender. Let the awakening happen in the way that it's meant to happen without us always, sticking our nose in. Because, we've got here the lightworker card. It says you are in service. You are in service. I'm going to read the description that goes with that card. But we've also got the card of forgiveness. Free yourself. But what does it say about Lightworker? Let's go back to basics, guys. I like the fact that this lady has put the Lightworker card as a 29 energy. So it says, a Lightworker or a starseed is an old soul with deep spiritual wisdom. You have been incarnate on Earth to share your light and knowledge and to participate in the planet's evolution. You're on a divine mission to bring positive change to the world. As your insight grows and expands, trust your inner wisdom and follow your heart. We're getting too hooked into agendas and potential timelines and things that might happen and, what are we going to do then? Can you feel? That just feels like it feels so claustrophobic. It feels like the walls are just closing in on me. It's like we're creating the reality that we don't want. What about because the thing is, if you're really in tune with the divine, the creator, God, which lives within you as well, that is about infinite possibilities, most of which you and I have not even thought about, because it's that creative spark coming in from the universe that says, have you thought about this? But we're all so stuck on, oh my God, it's going to be World War III and we're going to have to stockpile our food and then we're going to have to do this and then what are we going to do? And then it's just ridiculous. We are light workers. We're meant to be free. We're meant to be, Metatron's showing me free in all senses of the word, literally light as a feather type energy, light as a feather. He's showing me, even in worst case scenarios, and he's not even showing me what worst case scenario would be, because then people get worried about that. But let's just say a scenario which is more urban and a bit more dark and challenging. One potential timeline absolutely out there, that our cities are going to become more difficult places than they even are, etc. But he's showing us as a light worker and our energy just as this beautiful white feather, and it's just flowing and it's bouncing through that darker landscape. And as it does so, it's sweeping up energy, it's heightening energy, even in a very dense, heavy place, rather than being so invested in the dark, heavy place that we just become it. We just become absorbed into the background drama. It's literally, that's what I'm being seen, is what is happening. So many light workers are just getting sucked in to the background drama, and they're getting sucked into the worst possible scenarios. That is not why we came. And even if things do go pear-shaped, is the polite way of putting it. I wasn't going to say what I usually say. Even if things do go pear-shaped, we are like the white feather that just keeps on rolling. We just keep on rolling. We understand that we are eternal souls, full of light, and that is why we are here. Beautiful card on the bottom of the deck, I've just noticed. You can have a look at it before I do. See that? Does it say the uprising? My eyes aren't good enough to read it from here. I think it says the uprising. It says we are all connected. Yeah, look at that. Exactly. We are all connected. This card says, walk away. Walk away from all of what I just said. The dramas, the situation that's not serving you is you getting bogged down in what I call lowest common denominator energy. And I think it's because people tend to, we're all human. It's like if you park your car in a deserted car park, someone's always going to come and park right beside you. We have a need to be with people. We have a need to be, to group together. Nothing wrong with that, but it's just as though we're grouping sometimes with energies that aren't conducive to the mission that we came to do, which was to be the warrior. It says here, a true spiritual warrior overcomes many hurdles. What a true spiritual warrior does is they see the hurdle, yeah? They jump the hurdle. They then don't look back. They're not invested in terms of staying at the hurdle, analysing the hurdle, yeah? Discussing the hurdle, gathering a great big group around the hurdle, taking photographs of the hurdle, going onto Reddit and wherever else and discussing the hurdle. The feather, they just bounce. They just keep bouncing. That's what we've got to do through these times. And this card says, this is lovely as well, it says, throw caution to the wind. Your dreams lie behind it. Look at her. She's literally running for that doorway. What is behind the doorway? The doorway is the future. Aquarius, the future. We don't know what's there. We don't know how it's going to look. We don't know what the journey's going to look like before we even get to the doorway. We have to have the enthusiasm of just going for it, okay? Okay, so that's a beautiful deck. I'm now going to use a spray. And again, people that have just joined me might not know, but I created a set of aura sprays based on colour therapy and angelic frequencies around about 2012. They're now made for me by a team in the southwest of England, and we sell them internationally. And I often use sprays in every single video to bring a bit of the colour energy in and obviously the frequency that they are about. So I was looking at the number of sprays that we've got today and I thought, okay, what do we need for this video? And it's a really interesting array of colours. Sort of similar to what I've got on, actually, I realise in retrospect, which often happens. I've got the teal Alta Major spray. I'm going to say something about this in a moment. The Alta Major is a powerful portal that many people don't even know they've got. It's here. It's in that little hollow at the back of your neck. Very much like the crown, it's a place where fresh, new energy, spirit comes in and communicates with you, is able to bring new frequencies into your body, particularly around the head, the crown, the ears, the eyes, the mouth, the throat, how we communicate, how we hear, how we see, how we sense. All of that is the teal Alta Major chakra spray. I want to team it with purple. I just think this combination of colours to me feel at the moment very much Pluto in Aquarius. We have the higher self spray, which is purple and gold, and we have this beautiful teal colour. I'm combining that with another spray that we made around Christmas time, which says new light. And it does what it says on the label. I don't even know if we've still got these in the shop, to be honest, because we made them for Christmas. But new light, frankincense, lemon and cedar. So I'm going to start with this one. And let's just bring the frequency of this in more than anything. The frequency of new light. And it's reminding us that we are light. That light isn't up there. You know, it's coming down from up there. Light isn't outside my windows. Light is here. I am light, okay? I'm made of light. I'm also made of blood and bone and fat and all the rest of it, like all of us are. But our cells, when you put them under a microscope, light exists. Light is the biggest building block of life, is what Metatron is saying. So this new light that we're waiting for, the light codes, the sun, frequencies coming down, the new moons, yes, all of that is brilliant. But the new light is within us already. But we need to keep flushing it through, basically. Because it can also get stagnant sometimes if we've been exposed to, toxic environments, horrible words, negative people. If you think about the waters in your body that I often talk about, the work of Dr. Masaru Emoto, we know that the waters in our body respond to what we say to it. So if you say to yourself, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm stupid, I'm thick, I'm this, I'm that, your waters in your body listen to that and take all of that in and becomes toxic, sludgy, yucky stuff. Okay? Whereas if you say to the waters in your body and to yourself, I am beautiful, I am strong, I am wise, I am helpful, I am friendly, I am love, do you not think that's not going to have an impression on this, but also the water within? It's been scientifically proven that it does. Dr. Masaru Emoto's work is outstanding on that. But so too the light in your body, Metatron is saying, that we can want to hide our light and just pretend we don't really have it. We don't have the ability. We don't have the gifts that this world needs right now, that we just want to hide. Or we can boost the light, make it more visible, be proud of who you are, be okay with the abuse that might come from sticking your head above the parapet and saying, I am this. I offer you love, can be the biggest thing that triggers people when they don't want that. They just want you to come back with, negativity, or they want to fight, basically. And if you don't want to give it, that can really provoke people as well. So feeding your body with light, remembering that you are light. Let's just bring the teal energy in. And I'd just like you to imagine this colour just coming in around the back of your head, particularly this neck space, okay? The hollow around your neck. And this has got aniseed in it. Sorry, not aniseed, star anise. And let me just see what message we get here with regards to the Alta Major. Okay, I'm hearing that I'm hearing portal, because chakras are portals. Your heart is a portal. I think most of us understand that our heart is a portal. What that means is that your heart is a transmitter. Your heart is a transmitter. It's able to give, it's able to receive, it's able to expand, it's able to just shine in the most extraordinary way. But I'm hearing there's a portal here as well. So to start seeing these chakras as portals as well. So what are you allowing to land on the I'm seeing like a helicopter strip, a helicopter landing pad. That is what is here. What are you allowing to land here? Is it an energy of fear? And have you allowed fear to land here and stay and to create a nice little home? If you have, flush it through with that teal energy. Imagining the colour, the green colour, imagining yourself in the sea, the energy of seaweed as well I'm picking up on. I'm seeing us it's like a visualisation in the sea, because to me this teal green is very much about the sea. In the sea, there's seaweed, there's coral, but it's just cleansing this whole area, letting go of your fear. Don't allow yourself to basically be a helicopter landing pad for fear, because very much like the heart can transmit love and then also it receives love back, because that's the beauty. The more love you give to the world, the more you receive it back. But it's exactly the same with fear as well. The more that you fear, the more that you're going to attract fear. So imagine that. Do you want to be walking through the next 20 years as some helicopter landing pad for everybody else's fear, for the mainstream media's fear, for the collective fear, for your own fear? No, thank you very much. I'm sure you don't. So what else would you like to land there? Okay. And I can't get away from the fact that, yes, we've got Christ consciousness, of course, it's always been on this planet, but more people are waking up to it. But equally, the galactic energy, which is really the star seed energy. It's just about us remembering that we are not alone. Why would we ever have thought we were alone in this huge universe? So Pluto in Aquarius, we're going to be getting more and more disclosure, more and more evidence that we are not alone. And it's going to be a beautiful thing. So are you okay with having yourself, allowing your chakra here just to be a reception point for new energies that want to flow in? And these are not unfamiliar to you. These are very familiar energies that you already know, you've just forgotten. Okay, so we've lived many lifetimes on many different planets, many different star systems. We know what it is to be amongst Palladians, Syrians, all the rest of it. It's just that our human body forgets, it shuts down, it goes into fear maybe, or just denial. But the more that you can open up, the more that you're going to be able to access these other energies, which are both galactic, they are angelic, they are Christ-light. They're going back to that picture that I showed you this morning of the sea. It's the whole damn caboodle. It's all of them. It's beautiful, okay? But it's your choice, basically, what you invite into your space. And it comes in via ways that we're just not fully appreciating. It's what we're watching. It's what we're listening to. It's what we are repeating. It's what we're gossiping about. It's all of that type of energy, okay? So, just need to have some water at this point. And I'm going to pull a card from the Metatron deck for Pluto in Aquarius. I'm already seeing the indigo card before I've even pulled the deck. So those of you that are new, yes, I've done two decks. One is the Archangel Metatron Self-Mastery Oracle deck. It looks like that. It's got 55 cards, and we're going to pull one. So Pluto moving into Aquarius this weekend, Metatron. What is it that we maybe need to be attending to? Okay, what is it we maybe need to be attending to as Pluto moves into Aquarius? What should we be getting ready, preparing for? Where should our attention be? The cards work. Get ready for the biggest ride of your life. It's sort of the void, okay? Get ready for the void. Get ready for a discovery into the unknown. I love it. But equally, we're going to be on the biggest ride of our life, absolutely. And it's going to be very, very interesting, certainly not boring. But equally, this weekend, I was asking, what do we need to do to get ready? And it actually does say, in all seriousness, retreat, rest and pause. Okay. So these are very, very big energies that are coming in this weekend. Very, very big energies. And I think, I mean, we're all different, but certainly somebody like myself has a tendency to sort of like, want to really get to it quickly. And it's like, just pace yourself. This energy coming in is going to be around for the next 20 years, okay? You need to pace yourself with it. So it's almost as though this weekend is just like a beautiful, I'm seeing the curtains parting, and it's like when you go and see a play and they just bring back the curtains and you see the first scene, and look at that first scene. And don't get too fixated on just whatever happens this weekend. It's just a precursor. But remember, we are the feather. We're with this little bouncing ball, this bouncing feather. That's how we need to be. But even balls need to rest from time to time. That's going to be misconstrued. Yeah. The ball has to rest. I'm being shown tennis now, actually. Not being rude, guys. I'm not being rude. Oh, seriously, I'm being shown tennis. Somebody like Novak. Come on, Novak, win the Australian Open for us again. I love him. He's one of my absolute heroes. But, it's true, isn't it? In fact, in tennis, they have to retire the balls, don't they? They have to retire the balls. They have to have new balls, please. New balls, please. That's exactly what it is. But anyway, the Void. Perfect card from Metatron there. And it does seem appropriate that maybe actually I go back to the words that I channeled for the Void in the book. God knows how many years ago. 5, 6 years ago. It's probably 6, 7 years ago. I wrote whatever I wrote in here. You get a big book that comes with the deck. So the Void, what do we say? So it says, let there be light. And with those words, creation sprang forth from darkness and propelled all of us on our eternal paths of discovery and enlightenment. It says, you are now again at a time of great transformation and change, and this may require introspection, soul-searching and questioning regarding where you go from here. If you're feeling stuck, bored, facing difficulty, in pain, or otherwise challenged, entering the Void offers a chance to regroup, redefine, and co-create with the divine what is best for you. It says sometimes we voluntarily go into the Void via, for example, illness, burnout, grief, or loss. Yet within the darkness, you can retreat and hibernate, feeling safe for a while as you search for deeper meaning and fulfillment, and allow a moment of pause before creation once more kicks in. I'm being given the analogy here of getting into an aeroplane, and this weekend's energy and over the next month actually is an energy of just putting on your seatbelt, okay? Putting on your seatbelt, getting comfortable in your seat, this journey that's going to be over the next 20 years, that's where we're at, okay? So it's like that is where we're at. That's what I'm being shown. It says, so allow a moment of pause before creation once more kicks in. Do not rush your time there, as so much can be revealed and learned that is not accessible to you at times other than the night. These can be rich days and weeks indeed. We call the first movement of a baby in the womb the quickening, and so too is it with you now. Feel and sense a quickening within yourself, a desire to begin anew, to stretch, change, and become something else. So the quickening is an interesting analogy. The first time you start to feel the baby's movements in the womb, we're at that phase as well. But equally, I want to go back to the previous paragraph, which was basically saying, it's what Metatron was saying about squeezing squeezing everything that you can out of the sponge. These days that we're moving into are days where you don't always get this type of opportunity to grow and learn, basically. You really don't. And it's going to come in good ways, in more challenging ways. those of us that are here to really learn and have actually turned up to class, which is Earth School, to do something with our lives and for our soul to really progress, we should be like this guy, rolling up our sleeves with relish in terms of, yeah, come on, I want to get to the summit of what I can achieve in this lifetime. And anything that life or the collective has to throw at me, I am going to be embracing it, because it can then become part of my experience in terms of what I learned from it, how I handled it, how much stronger I got from it. But also realize that there's also going to be other people out there who just aren't going to take any of the learning. They're just going to go further and further into denial. And I'm seeing the ostrich with its head in the sand, but its head is going so far down into the sand. And actually, talking about sand, this morning I went for this walk along the sea line. I have lived by the sea for 20 years now. I go for a walk regularly. I've never seen what I saw today. Admittedly, it was very cold last night. Maybe that had something to do with it. It was -5, which is quite cold for here. But it was a very still, beautiful morning. We hadn't had a storm overnight, but I saw 5 dead fish on the beach. I looked it up because I was so confused. They were just lying there. They were about that big, and they were quite a way out from the sea. They were quite a way up the beach. So my daughter said to me, how did they get there? And we concluded maybe a bird had dropped them. I'm not sure it had. So I Googled it, and it said sometimes mackerel can chase smaller fish, and that's how you can get fish landing on a beach like that. But these weren't little sprats. These were big fish. John thought they might have been catfish. I'm not sure what they were, but they just looked so sad. They were just there. They were dead. They had sand all over them. And I was taken to the miracle of the 5 fish and the fish and the loaves, basically, where Jesus was able to, with very little supply, turn something into a most extraordinary moment of abundance. But these dead fish on the beach said to me that we have forgotten about miracles in our world. We've forgotten also that you are a miracle, that I am a miracle, that we are all miracles. And we're investing far too much energy in the negative, in attacking each other, in you're right, I'm wrong, all this type of stuff, in arguing, in fighting with each other, all the rest of it. We've forgotten the miracle zone, and we need to get back into the miracle zone, because the miracle zone actually is, it lives in the void. That the Om sign in the heart of the void, the creation point, pulling the light, miracles. We've forgotten all of that. And again, if we go back to the quickening, the baby in the womb, it's the biggest miracle ever that we give birth. I mean, to give birth is just that moment where you think, how the hell have I created that? I remember after my first baby was born, I remember thinking, I am never, ever again. I have to confess, I haven't lived up to this, but I remember thinking, I'm never, ever again going to judge my body. I'm just going to marvel at the power of my body to have produced something so absolutely stunningly beautiful. How on earth did I do that? It's a miracle. Every birth is a miracle. You are a miracle. We were all miracles, and we've forgotten it. We need to remember that. We definitely need to remember that, particularly when we come up against those hurdles and the darkness, where it just feels like, well, let's just go home and give up because it's all just too horrible. No, that's when you get into the miracle zone. That is absolutely when you get into the miracle zone and you realize that you can jump higher than you ever thought you could. We all can. So, what else does it say here? Leaving behind the old and what is known. It says the first steps in are the most difficult, as they require you to face your own darkness. That which may have robbed you of joy, love, health, abundance, and hope. But as we step into the void, and we're going to be doing that, you feel Archangel Metatron's presence within the dark, and you proceed deeper into its safe cocoon, knowing that you are not alone. And from that moment of sweet surrender, anything becomes possible. A creative dance of movement, flow, and expansion once more. Your soul is a bright, sparkling ball of luminescent light. You can be anything you want to be. You can choose any reality, any theme, any time, any role to play. So it says, don't fear the void. It is there to help, not hinder, to heal, not hurt, to create, not diminish, and to make greater this experience of life. Metatron offers safe passage through its darkness back to light. All is well. And that feels a very fitting moment, maybe just to leave this video today, because it's back to where we started. This card, Adsum, I am present, but equally, look who else is present. All of the angels, all of the guides, all of the elementals, your ancestors, your higher self. It's time to move that page, turn the page of your own book to the next chapter. And I love the fact we've got this guy coming in the doorway there with a whole pile of books. And it's almost as though that person in the doorway is a guide. It feels like it's a guide. It might be a new guide for some of us, or it could just be a higher version of the guide you've already got. But they're bringing in the next chapters that they know that you're ready for. But equally, they know the world is ready for. And yeah, I did just say what I said, because I've always believed that our guides, whether it's Archangel Metatron, whether it's Jesus, whether it's whoever it is, we have a perception of them. We know them as far as we've been able to know them, based on our own human perception, ego, and where we are. The more that we open up and reveal more of who we are, the more they can open up and reveal more of who they are and what they are capable of as well. And that's also true for Ashtar as well, he's saying. Okay, so our guides grow with us because everything is constantly evolving. Everything is always wanting to refine itself, grow itself, including God, okay? If you don't like the word God, creator, that's why we're here. It's to grow and to evolve. So everyone is here. Are you? Are you present? Are you ready for the biggest ride of your life? Next 20 years, let's sign up. Let's also not take for granted the next 20 years. Nobody knows for certain whether, we've got 20 years left of our life. We should be very appreciative of every single day that we've got. We should never take anything for granted. And that's not because I'm tuning into something terrible that's about to happen in the next 20 years. No, that's not what I'm saying. I was chatting to somebody this morning who somebody had died, basically. I didn't really know the person who died, but it was a shock. It was very unexpected. In fact, they were a tradesman and they were working in somebody's house and they just dropped dead. But anyway, the point was that, that person went off to work that day and fully expected, I'm sure, to be living the next 20 years as well. So don't take it for granted. It is not a rehearsal. And that's why I really also want to end with this card, which is the Sands of Time, the Six of Scrolls. Roll up your sleeves and let's get on with it. And also, Six of Scrolls, it feels as though that's probably Six of Pentacles, maybe. I mean, that's how I want to interpret this card anyway, whether it is or not, because that would make sense, because it's to do with giving and receiving. What you put into life is what you get back. It's that simple. So are we going to give it our best shot? Are we going to be present? Are we going to do it, or are we not? I hope you're with me to say, yes, I am here. Thank you very much for listening. Lots of love. I'll be back very soon. I think my next video will be the channeling of Marilyn Monroe, oh yes, she's there on the wall, isn't she? So I am setting all of that up, and I've got a really good video to come from her. And I don't know, all sorts of other things I'm sure popping up soon on this channel. Thank you for your support. I will put the cards that I've used below. I'll put the sprays that I've used below, and give me a like if you've liked the video. Thank you very much. Bye for now. Have a good weekend, everybody. Bye.